Jon Rahm, plus 1,600. We all know wins in Mexico in late April, has been favored in a couple of tournaments since then, but does he come through on the major stage this week? Is he worth maybe sprinkling a little something on?
It's a decent number for Rahm. It just feels like there's something a little wrong with his game. We've seen his putter been bulky throughout much of the first 6 months of the year. Now it seems like the ball striking isn't quite there. Look, I always like Rahm. I always think he's got some win equity. He's one of the game's best players. In fact, when Jon Rahm is playing his best golf, and we always have this conversation, when every player is playing their best game, who's the best in the world, I think it's probably right now Rory McIlroy, but Jon Rahm's not far behind. So if Jon Rahm does indeed play his best golf this week, of course, he can win this title. And like I said, it's a pretty good number for him. I think it's the longest odds that he's had at a major championship so far this year, but I'm still not on Rahm. I'm not quite there. I think something's missing just a little bit right now.
All right, Reed, decent enough number here to bet?
Oh, well, you also got to take into account who's around him, right, Emerson? I mean, this is a major tournament, so we have all the top guys here, and you're going to get soft numbers on all of them. And while I agree with Jason and what he's talking about with Rahm, probably a little bit of that is like you mentioned, the putter and the around the green stuff that we've seen kind of not once he made that switch to Callaway. It hasn't really set, even though long-term he's one of the best. But I'm looking at Scottie Scheffler at plus 1,400. I know he's 4 points, or excuse me, 2 points less than Jon Rahm, but Scheffler right now, what he's done, winning 4 straight in like what seems to be like 4 weeks in a row back when he won, and now he's in a little slump where he hasn't won for a few months. He also won Augusta National. He won the Masters, and there's a ton of correlation between those two courses of the past winners. So I like Scottie Scheffler a little bit better at plus 1,400.
All right, Jeff, among the big dogs here, what do you think? Because Rahm hasn't had a top 10 in the first 3 majors of this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's gotten to the point where, the number on Jon Rahm is almost big enough that he should just almost become an auto bet. I mean, if he were to get to plus 2,000 this week, I couldn't even really make an argument. The last time, he got to that number, which was around like the Memorial in 2020, he won going away. So Jon Rahm is almost at the point where you should probably just bet him. As Jason said, he may be the best player in golf. It's probably between him and Rory right now, but I prefer, look, it's an open championship. This course is going to play, in my opinion, it's probably going to play pretty easy. It's going to be a lower scoring event. It's a links course, so there's tons of luck involved with the draw too. Let's start a little bit bigger. I like Patrick Cantlay and I like Cameron Smith. Cantlay at plus 2,000 isn't quite the value that I'd like, but Cam Smith at plus 2,800. Let's not forget, where did Cam Smith get his first win of the season? It was at an easier course with a bunch of short par 4s, some easier par 5s as well that kind of turned into a putting contest. I think St. Andrews is set up beautifully for a player like Cam Smith, who's great with his wedges, great from around the greens, going to be able to dominate these shorter par 4s. So I'm looking at Cam Smith as, quite frankly, the best value at under plus 3,000 this week. I think plus 2,800, very good for a player who's got 2 wins, got good correlation. He's played well at Augusta. We all know that like a lot of the players play good at Augusta, play good at St. Andrews. I think Cameron Smith at plus 2,800 is where you should be starting.